Hi everyone, my name is mpyanev, a professional software engineer and a computer science professor at Fitchburg State University. And in today's video, I will show you how you can decrypt CAPTCHA images, just like those that you have to solve to register in any website using the ChatGPT API and Python. If you get value of this video, please subscribe to my channel, and now let's get started. Now open PyCharm and create a new project. All right, so I will call it models API, for example. You can name it however you like. All right, so obviously the first thing that I will do is I will install the OpenAI library, just like we always do. So pipe install OpenAI. And after that, we're going to start our first project, and this is going to be our vision project. So we're going to create an application that is going to be able to read images. Okay, so I'll call it vision.py, and I will also create a config file that will hold our API key. Okay. Okay, so the very first thing that I will do is I will add our API key here. So API key will be equal to this key right here from Blackboard. You should all have it. Okay, and then inside our vision file, I'm just going to set everything up for our project to be able to start. Okay, meaning that I will add all the imports. So I will do import tkinter as tk, then I will do from tkinter import file dialog. We already work with this library, so you should know how it works. This is going to be used to select a file from our device. Then from tkinter, I will import label and button. Then we're going to use a library that will help us to deal with the images, right? So just to remind you, here we're building an application that is going to read CAPTCHAs, CAPTCHA images. So we're going to pass a CAPTCHA, and then our application will tell us what's written on that CAPTCHA. Okay, so since the CAPTCHA is an image, we will need a library to process images, and this is the PIL library, or PIL. So from PIL, import image, and then image tk. And obviously, since here we're getting an error, we will need to install this library. So I will do pipe install PO. Let's see if this is the one. Yes. So you just need to do pipe install PO. Okay, PO like the one that you sleep on, right? Okay. After that, I will import the OpenAI. So import, or actually let's do it from OpenAI, import OpenAI. Then I'm going to import base64. We're going to use this library to convert the images into bits and be able to post-process it using Python. Okay. And finally, I will import our config file. All right, then let's do client equals OpenAI, and here I will pass what I'm gonna pass, our API key, right? So this is always the first part. I'm guessing that by now that we did that many applications, those first steps, even if I just wake you up, you're going to be able to write them, right? I'm sure about this. Okay. So pretty much this is our initialization. And after that, before going around to see how is it going with you guys, I'm just going to create the tkinter window. So just like how I gave it for your group project, I will start with the front end, and then based on this, I'm just going to build the backend. Okay, so let's do root equals tk dot tk. Then let's do root dot title, and let's name this CAPTCHA reader. Okay, so here we're creating the window. Now let's create the graphical user interface. So I will do img label will be equal to label root, and then I will do img label dot pack. Okay, the next thing I will do is I'll create some label that will actually display the text from the CAPTCHA. Okay, so I will do text label, that will be equal to label, and then we're gonna pass the root. So this is our application, and you know all of those functions, so label, pack, title, those are part of the tkinter library, right? So we're going to do root, which means that I'm going to place this text label into this window, and then I'll write some initial text that is going to be displayed. So the initial state of our application is that there is no image passed yet, right? So initially we didn't pass any image. We'll need to click a button and then select an image. So for that reason, the initial text will be no CAPTCHA processed yet. Okay, and here I will just design the font. So it's going to be Arial, and the size will be 14. And then I will do text label dot pack, which means that now this text label is going to be displayed inside the window. Okay. Finally, I'm simply going to add the button that when clicked, we will be able to select a file and then run this file through our CAPTCHA reader. Okay, so let's do process button equals label root, and here I will do text equals to select image. Okay, and then I will pass a command that will be called select and process image. Okay, so the command, obviously this is the name of the function that we will need to create. So once I press this process button, this function is going to be activated. We will be able to select an image and then pass it through the AI. Okay, so now once we do that, obviously we have an error here because the function is not created yet. And then here I will do process button dot pack. Okay, and finally I will do root dot main loop, which is actually going to start our application. Okay, so question for you guys. I know that I'm writing a little bit too fast. I'll give you some time to write the code. So here, how can I remove this error over there, and why do I have this error? We didn't create the function yet, so here I'm passing a function that doesn't exist in the file, just like you say. So how I can fix the situation here? I need to obviously create a function, right? So we're gonna do def, then I will pass the name of the function. Okay, I write those parentheses here, and here I will just type the pass keyword, which means that I just want this function not to give me errors. If I remove it, this will be completely empty function, which is not valid. Okay, so for now I will just write pass, so everything works. Okay. Okay, so now let's run the vision.py and see what happens. Okay, so here I got an error, and let's see what it is. So it is, okay, so we have here label. Okay, here it is. So here instead of button I wrote label, and command is not part of the variables that is behind label, behind button, actually behind label. So let me show you why I got this error. So for example, here we had label before, right, which was a mistake. So if I click here on label, I can see that here I don't have the variable command that I can pass to label, right? That's why I got an error. If I change this to button, this error is removed, and if I click button here, okay, if I write command, you see that we're going to have this variable somewhere here. Okay, there are too many variables command, but this is just part of this class. Okay, that's why we got an error. Now if I run this, you can see that now our application works. So it looks exactly like how we created it, and it's very simple. So we created a window that is called CAPTCHA Reader. We display text here, no CAPTCHA processed yet. Okay, and here we have a button that is select image, and nothing happens when I click it. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, so now I will give you some time to write this, and I'm gonna go around. So once everybody is on that stage, we're going to continue with the backend. Okay, any questions? Good. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is so far pretty straightforward, so I don't expect you to have any issues so far. Guys, so now the next thing we're going to do is to create our select and process image. Okay, which is going to do exactly that. It will allow the user to select an image and then to process it. So let's go here, and first of all I'm going to create a variable called file path. Okay, and here to select the file I'll use the file dialog library. So I will do file dialog dot ask open file name. Okay, and if you remember when we used it last time, we defined the file types. So what type of files can be used, whether it's going to be PNG, JPEG, XLX, which obviously we're not interested in. So we're just going to define the files. Now I will do file types, and I will just create a list of file types. So here the first variable is going to be image files. So I will do image files. So this is going to be the header of the window, and after that the second element is going to be the file type. So I will do star.png, which means that I will accept .png files, then star.jpg. I will also accept star.jpeg, And let's do also star dot gif. Okay, so those are most of the image formats out there. Okay, now once we have defined the file path, the next thing I want to do is to simply check if it exists. So if not file path, I will return nothing. Okay, so it won't work. Okay, so by now, if we pass this line of code and is successful, this would mean that we have the file path of our image. The next thing I want to do is to also display the image inside our application. That way, I can see the image, and then under it, I will be able to see whatever is written on the image, so I can compare, right? So let's do that. So I'll create a new variable called img, and I'll write image dot open, and then I will pass the file path that we just selected. Okay, so the image library, as you can see, we imported from PO right here. Okay, then I'll write image dot thumbnail, and here I will define how I want to resize the image. So I resize it. So I will make it smaller. I will make it 400 by 400, so it can actually fit my application. Then I'll create a variable called img_tk. So we're going to change our image so it is suitable for a tkinter application. And to do that, I'll use image_tk dot photo image, and then I will pass the original image object. Image_tk again comes from PO. Okay, so they have special support for displaying images into tkinter. Then I will do img underscore label dot config. Okay, and I write here image equals to image_tk. Okay, so okay, let's write the next line, and then I will explain you how it works. So then I will do img label dot image equals to image_tk. Okay, so what's happening here is that if you remember, here in the tkinter we already created the image label, okay, which is just a standard tkinter label. Okay, so what we did here is that we actually linked the image to the label, as you can see, okay, with those two lines right here. Oops. Okay, so then wherever this label is displayed on our application, this is where we're going to see the image, which is going to be just above our text that is going to display what's written on this image right here. Okay, so finally what I want, so now I displayed the image in our application. Okay, so I assess the path, and now I display the image, it is there. Now the next thing that we want to do is to display the text of the image, and to do that obviously we're going to use AI. So we need to send the image, and then we need to get the text from the image. So let's do that. Here I write CAPTCHA text equals, and here I'm going to use another function that is not created yet, and this will be the function with which we're going to assess the AI. So I will call this function extract text from CAPTCHA. Okay, and I will pass the path to the image. okay? And once this function completes its work, then it will return the text on the image, which will be assigned to the CAPTCHA text. And the only thing I will need to do after that is to write text label dot config, and then I'll write text equals, okay, and I'll write here extracted CAPTCHA, okay, and then what I'm gonna pass here, I'm going to simply pass the CAPTCHA text. So the label, the text label that was previously displaying no CAPTCHA processed yet, that you can see on your own applications right now, will be updated here with extracted CAPTCHA and then the text from your image. Alright, now I will need to obviously create the extract text from CAPTCHA function. So let's do def extract text from CAPTCHA, and just in the same way for now I write pass. Okay. Oh, I get error here. Yeah. Okay. I will also pass the file path right here. Okay, so I know that now I have a function that takes a file path and later is going to return the text, obviously. Alright, so let's actually make this function for now just return test1, okay, and let's run the application again. So what I expect right now to happen is I expect to be able to select an image. Once I select this image, I expect this image to be displayed in my application. Once it's displayed, I expect then to display under it extracted CAPTCHA, and since this function is going to return for now test1, I will expect to see extracted CAPTCHA test1. If I see this, that would mean that so far my application is working and the only thing I need to do is to implement the AI. Make sense? Okay, let's try that out. So if you go in Blackboard again, you're going to notice that actually I'm going to update it. Okay. So if I go to course documents, you're going to notice that we have here an image called CAPTCHA1. Actually, let me just do one quick thing. All right. So, okay, so if you go there, you'll see that we have an image called CAPTCHA1.png. Okay, and if I click on it, you will see that this is just a random CAPTCHA image that I got. So make sure that you download it. All right. You can, so if the download doesn't work straight away, you know you're gonna see it here and you can just pass it to a certain folder. That way you can download it. Okay. So this is the CAPTCHA image with which I'm going to try to execute our application. So, okay, let's see. So I'm just going to drag and drop it here. Okay, so this is the CAPTCHA1.png. So let's now run the application. I will click select an image. So now you can see that I can browse into my directories. And then I'm going to go wherever I saved this image. So CAPTCHA1.png. You can also notice that the files that are not named with .png or .jpeg, they're unavailable just because we specified that. So now if I click open, you can see that it happens exactly what we expected, correct? So let's move this in the middle. So the image got displayed. Now let's do the final part of the code, which is implementing the AI. Okay, so here as you can see we passed the file path, right, to this extract text from CAPTCHA. So we need to use this file path to access the image and pass it to the ChatGPT API. So let's first open the image file. So I will do with open, okay, then I will pass the file path, okay, then I will pass read bytes rb as image file, or yeah, image image file. Okay, so what I just did, I read the bytes of the image and I pass it to the variable image file. That's all. So now once we have the image bytes, now we have the image into bytes, we need to do another operation. So I write image bytes will be equal to image file, which has the bytes dot read. Okay, we need to do that in order to read those bytes. Okay, so now once we have that, we need to do another conversion. So we need to convert the bytes into bytes with the base 64 bits. Okay, so I will need to do base 64 image equals to base 64 dot b 64 decode image bytes dot base 64 dot decode. Okay, and then I'll specify what protocol I want to use to decode the image. Okay, so I'll use UTF-8. Okay, so obviously I don't expect you to remember all of those lines, but what you should know is that what we're doing here is simply decoding the image into the right format so we can actually send it to the AI for processing. Okay, so once we decoded the image into base 64 image, now we can pass it to the AI in order to get processed. Let's do that. So now I write response equals to client dot chat dot completions dot create. Okay, so now you can see we start communicating with the AI. So I will do now model equals to GPT dash 40 dash mini. Okay, and for your information, this is exactly how it's called, the model that in my opinion is the best model to use as of today for any type of application, because it is cheap and it is also very capable. Of course, right now you don't need to worry about the costs and those type of things, but one day if you decide to create your own application and maybe sell it to somebody, this is going to be of a concern, right? It's going to be something important that you need to pay attention about. All right, so after that we're going to pass the image as a message to the AI. So I write messages, just like how we always do. Okay, and here I'll create a dictionary and I'll create a few elements. So first of all I write row user. Okay, so you know, in OpenAI we can send messages as user, as assistant, and as system. Okay, so since we just want to send one message, we will send it as a user, so the message is coming from the user or from us. Okay, and after that we're going to write content So let's do content. Okay. Okay, and here is how you can pass text and images. So in this content, as you can see, this is a list, right? Okay, so in this list, first of all, every type of content that you want to pass is going to be a different dictionary inside this list. So first of all, I want to pass content of a type text. So here I write type text. Okay, and after that I will write what that text is. So text, and I will do what's on the image, question mark, write the text only. Okay, okay, so now the first part of the content I'm sending to AI is this question, that is of a type text. Now the next thing that I'm going to send is obviously the image. Okay, so let's do that. I'll create another dictionary, and here again, firstly, I'll specify the type. So let's try. Actually, I'm gonna just create in the same way. Let's do like this. Okay, and firstly here I write type. Okay, is going to be image underscore URL. Okay, and after that I'll create here a variable image URL. So image URL. Okay, is going to be URL, and then here I'm going to pass our image. Okay, so here's how you can do it. So pretty much what I'm doing so far is I'm creating a new type into our content, which is going to be an image URL, and here I'm defining how the URL is going to look like. So I'm building the URL myself. So let's do f string, and here I'll write data image slash JPEG okay, semicolon, base 64, comma, and after that I'm going to pass our image, the base 64 image. Okay, I will just write a comma here, and that's it. Okay, so it looks a little bit confusing, I know, but if you think about it, simply we specify the type, then we specify what the URL is going to be, and here inside we create our URL. So first of all, we're saying we're going to send data that is going to be image. We're going to put our image or convert it to JPEG, okay, and we're specifying we're going to send bytes with base 64, and we're sending them right here. Okay, all right, and after that, just because I want to display only the text that is on our image, I'm also going to give a good limit to the max tokens. Okay, so I'm going to write max tokens is equal to 50. So I'm not gonna allow the AI to write too long text. So 50 tokens are about 12 words maximum. Okay, so I don't expect our CAPTCHA that is going to be let's say more than 12 words, obviously. right? Even 12 words is too much. Normally, you would expect it to be one word that would have about 4 or 5 tokens inside. All right, so once we do all that and we send this request, we're going to get the response from the AI that will be assigned to this variable response. Okay, so as you've seen from previous lectures, the response is usually of too many elements. What we want from the response is just the text. So for that reason, I will return response dot choices. I'm going to take the first choice since we didn't specify how many responses we want. ChatGPT will assume that we only get one response. That's why I get the first element of the choices list. Okay, dot message dot content. Okay, and that will be the text that we return. So I'm going to delete now this return test1 statement. Yep. All right. So let's save that. And I'm going to run the function again, and let's see what result we're going to get. Okay, so I'll do select image, captcha 1, and obviously I did some mistake with the code because I don't get the actual code, right? So I did something with the bytes that is not correct. All right, let's see what could be it. Actually, let me check it here as well. So I will need to convert the image to JPEG. Obviously, our application is a little bit limited. So let me just upload a better version of the image. Okay, so the issue I had with the code is that here I did B64. Actually, this is the one that I created. B64 decode, but instead I had to do encode. Obviously, we have to encode it, so we need to convert the bytes into base 64. Okay, not to convert it from base 64 to something else. So just do B64 encode. Okay, and then we're gonna decode it with UTF-4. Yes. All right. So let's see if that's gonna work. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was the issue. Also, I uploaded the updated version of the image. I changed the format to JPEG, so you can re-download it from Blackboard, and that should work. Okay. So I'm just going to leave the code right here. I gave you some time to write it. So I'm gonna go around and let's see if it is going to work for you guys. Good job, guys. So now, as the time has passed, like quite a lot of time passed, I will still try to real quick show you the text to speech, okay? Because it's a very short thing to do, and you're going to learn something new. I think we can do it in 10 minutes, okay? Should we try it? I mean, what can you say? Okay, we're going to try it. All right. So here's how it works. Again, very, very simple. I'll create a new file, Python file, right? And I will just call it text to speech. Okay. So if the time is not enough, we're obviously gonna continue next week. So let's do from pathlib. I will import path. Okay. And I also import OpenAI. So from, actually, you know what, I'm just going to copy it from the other lesson. So I'm going to do from OpenAI, import OpenAI. Okay. And after that, we're just going to pass the API key. You can use exactly the same project. And also I'm going to import config. Okay. All right. So the idea here is from text to pass it to the AI to get voice and obviously to record it in an MP3 file. Okay. How do we do that? So there are two things that are important. Firstly, how to connect with the text-to-speech API, and the second one is how out of the response to create an MP3. Okay, so very simple. Firstly, I will create the file. So I will do speech file path will be equal to path file parent, and I will do slash, and I will call it speech.mp3. Okay, so this is how you create a path to a new file that you want to create. Okay, the next thing I will do is to talk to the AI. So here I will just do response equals to client.audio.speech.create, and here just in the same way we will need to pass the model. So I'm going to use the TTS-1. TTS obviously means text to speech. Then here you can choose voice. So if you check on the OpenAI website, there are many different voices that you can choose, you know, like male, female voice, different types of accents and so on. So the one I will choose is called Alloy. Okay, then I will just pass the input, and here as an input you can pass literally every text you want. Okay, so let me just search for some random text. So let's say trees wiki, and then I'm just going to get a paragraph from here, and I will paste it here. Okay, so this is going to be our text that the AI will talk about, something about trees. And then let's do response. So now we got the response, so we got the speech, and now we want to put it in a file. That's very easy. We're just going to do stream to file. Okay, and I'm going to put here the file path that I just create. So we got the response, and we're going to stream it to an MP3 file. Stream to file is an option of the OpenAI, and it will allow us to create the MP3. So let's try it. I will just run that. Okay, run text to speech, and let's get here. So there is some wait time, obviously. Okay, and here we got a warning, but it seems that there is the speech.mp3, right? So let's see what's on this file. I will just play it. Okay, let me get to the project. Okay, here is a speech mp3. Let's play it.
Botany. A tree is a perennial plant with an elongated stem or trunk, usually supporting branches and leaves. In some usages, the definition of a tree may be narrower, including only woody plants with secondary growth, plants that are usable as lumber, or plants above a specified height. In wider definitions, the taller palms, tree ferns, bananas, and bamboos are also trees.
Okay, so if you were playing around with, let's say, Google Translate, trying to say some text, or you were playing with automatically generated text, you can see that now this is on a completely different level, right? This actually sounds like a real human. It's not like a robot or anything like this. Okay, so this means that now you can pass any type of text, and it is going to present it, and it will sound just like how you heard. All right.